from the deep, dark hollows of southeastern Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, Not So Quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Appalachia, Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
How you been today?
Great.
Great?
Yeah.
I've had a pretty rough day, so I'm glad that you had a good one. I know you had to deal with my rough day, too. I'm sorry about that. So we're going to talk about something pretty strange on this episode, something that's been happening, and it goes back to some things we've talked about. So we'll get into all that. But let's just say this episode is going to be all about
Wild animals.
cryptids. That's where I'm going.
Well, I mean, that's a possibility. While none are outright paranormal, these incidents remain just unexplained due to the incomplete information on the animals involved, per se.
Okay. Yes, I know. But it just.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Because they, like I said, they don't have complete lab results. It's like, it could be this,
It's kind of the whole Bigfoot thing.
Yeah.
Because, somebody will come up and say, I found some hair and it's weird and I think it's Bigfoot. And then they send it off for DNA analysis and it's like a dog or something.
Primate-like.
Yeah, there was a few times it did come back as primate.
Yeah.
Which is weird because there's no primates in North America. So
could be possum hair.
Possum hair?
I mean, if you think about it, a possum is the closest thing to a monkey that we have.
Just because they hang from trees. Possums are marsupials.
I know what they are. I know, but I'm just saying the closest are a squirrel that hangs from a tree that we have.
I'm still disappointed that I've never seen a flying squirrel because we have them in Kentucky. I've never seen one.
I've seen a dead one.
A dead one?
Yes. Oh. We had returned to our cabin in Cave Run and someone had left a window to the bedroom open. I guess it couldn't figure out how to get back out and it died in that bedroom. It was just laying there deceased on the bed. It's kind of gross, but
ew. But you could tell it was a flying squirrel.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it looks way different than the gray squirrel.
Right. So. Yeah, I've never seen one though. It's crazy. I've been, pretty much all over Kentucky.
I do know they're in Menifee County.
But just because you've never seen something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
And that's going to be where we start this episode.
It's like I've never actually seen an alien, but
right.
I know they're real.
Yeah.
They're real.
Yeah, and that's the way I feel with ghosts. I mean, I feel that way about aliens too. But that's where we're going to start this episode, is with these creatures that maybe you haven't seen, or only a few people have seen. But just because you haven't seen them doesn't mean they don't exist. Just like with you and the Yellowman stretcher from over on Punchin', you'd heard about it your whole life.
Yeah, and my grandpa and my great-grandpa swears that it's there, but I'd never seen it. And I don't think I ever want to, the way that it looks. So.
But they swear that they saw it. So, I mean, you can't just ignore that. I kind of teased on that last episode when we talked about cryptids, about the one that existed supposedly up in the holler that I grew up in, the same holler we currently reside in. And this was something that all my cousins, the older cousins,
that got you in trouble.
And
I know they're listening. You know who you are.
That's right. But yeah, some of the older cousins and my older brothers had all spoke of a creature that supposedly roamed the mountains right there around that holler, the head of that holler.
Out of all your cousins, you're the baby, right?
I'm the second to last. There's just one younger than me. But, there's quite a few of us. If any of you are listening out there, I hope you have a good laugh from me telling this story. I'm sure you will. So I pretty soon I figured out that, they were just messing with us. They were just trying to scare us. They were being foolish. But there are a few things that have happened to not just me, but my brothers too. They still swear to this day these things happen. They won't say for sure, they won't give it their 100% guarantee stamp that it was this supposed creature.
Because they don't want
But
people to think they're crazy.
I guess.
So as
But
they age, then they'll be like telling this story, right? Because we're gonna think they're crazy anyway.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Slowly slipping into dementia or something there. So supposedly this creature roaming around the head of our holler was called the Lion Man.
Like the one that, what is that? Was it Beauty and the Beast or something other? There was a show in the 80s. This guy looked like a lion.
Yeah, that was Beauty and the Beast, the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, creepy as. I did not want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was scary.
So this is what I'm picturing Lion Man looks like.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
That is kind of an image that your mind brings up when you think Lion Man. But supposedly it was the anthropomorphic mountain lion. Not like a African safari lion with a big mane. It was a mountain lion. And
Not like the Thundercats.
yeah, well, I guess kind of like the Thundercats. But yeah, and basically the body of man, but all covered in fur, that kind of light, kind of yellowish, orangish mountain lion color.
Cougar.
Yeah, a tail.
Well, of course, a tail.
Big old cat ears. And of course, big fangs and claws. So I actually never got an official history of lion. I think that's how one of the many reasons that it kind of added up to being, they're just screwing with me.
Yeah.
Because the first one I heard was military experiment. So supposedly in the, I guess, 40s or 50s, there was some kind of government facility built back there in the mountains away from everything. And they did some kind of genetic experiment.
Right in the head of Hard Burley there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, why not? And yeah, supposedly this was some kind of genetic experiment trying to create a more powerful soldier. And it got loose and it still roams. Not trying to harm anybody, but if you get in its way, it could. I guess kind of like an actual mountain lion. Probably wouldn't really bother you unless you bothered it.
Right.
However, there are a few videos I've seen of guys just like walking along a trail and all of a sudden a mountain lion comes out.
So are we talking like a yellow mountain lion, or are we talking like
Yeah.
panther, black?
No. It was
Okay.
like that yellowish, orangish color mountain lion, your typical mountain lion, but like 7 feet tall, estimated about 7 feet tall. And it has like the muscular frame of a man and the head of a mountain lion, covered in fur, big long limbs, glowing orangish, red, amber kind of colored eyes, usually walking upright, and
2 legs.
and maybe some like tattered clothing, like some blue jeans or something there. Still
Like a cat version of the Hulk.
kinda.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I kind of started leaning towards the fact that maybe it wasn't all just a story. After kind of being weary when I was out playing and running around in the hills, like, oh God, was that Lion Man? What was that noise? I mean, it's bad enough to hear a bobcat.
Right. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, those things are scary when they start squalling. But yeah, a mountain lion, never heard one, never seen one. But I never saw or heard anything other than your regular local wildlife. Every now and then a bone chilling bobcat squall, and that meant get the heck out of there. But other than that, no Lion Man. So I put it out of my head. Hadn't thought about it for years. I'm pretty sure I was 15. And we had a cat. His name was Smudge, and he was awesome. He was a great cat. He would do tricks. He acted like a dog. He would come to you when you called him and stuff. He didn't act like a cat that much.
Kind of like our Otis did with, he had our cat sitting.
Yeah.
Begging for food.
Our cat had a sit and beg. He wasn't quite that dog-like. But he did kind of protect the house because he stayed on the front porch. Every now and then he came inside, but a lot of the time he stayed on the front porch. Dad always tried to get him to come inside at night so that a dog or something wouldn't get a hold of him because we had neighborhood dogs that like to wander into our yard
And chase cats.
late at night. Yeah.
It's like every neighborhood.
So Dad didn't want him to get eat up or nothing. So he always tried to get him to come inside. And one night he came to my room, my dad did, and said, I couldn't get Smudge to come in. So before you go to bed, make sure he's in the house. I said, okay, I can do that. So a few hours later, I get up and I look outside on the porch. I don't see Smudge. And I'm like, man, where is that stupid cat? So I walk out onto the porch and I'm trying not to be too loud because my mom and dad's bedroom is like right there. So I'm kind of, Smudge, where are you? Trying to be loud enough that hopefully Smudge can hear me. After a few minutes, I finally hear a soft little meow. And I'm like, okay, where did that come from? So I start walking down the steps. Now it's pretty dark out. There is moonlight, so I can kind of see. I think it was like maybe a half moon or something. Yeah. So I could see a little bit. And that was back when my eyes were a lot better than they are now. So I walk down into the yard and I'm looking around and I'm like, Smudge. And I keep hearing meow, meow. And I finally follow the sound towards a big box elder tree that sat down towards the corner of our yard. And he's up in this tree, like pretty far up in there.
Yeah, those are pretty big trees.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, come on. And he's acting like he can't come down, like he's too scared to get himself down. So I'm like, come on, kitty, come on. And I'm trying to coax him down the tree, and he makes a little bit of headway, but then he gets scared again and he kind of backs up. So I'm out there for a good 20 minutes. He's almost down into my arms, and I hear a noise from behind me. It sounds like leaves and sticks crunching, like something heavy stepped on it, and it's coming from behind me. So I spin around, and across the creek from where I'm standing, it's not very far, I see two orange, red, amber kind of colored glowing eyes. I know they're eyes because they blink.
Right.
I see them blink, and I was like, oh my God. I back up a little bit, and I'm like, come on, Smudge, come on. And he jumps down into my arms, and I turned and I ran back into the house. I didn't hear anything following me. I didn't hear any growling, but I saw eyes. They were absolutely eyes, and they blinked.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was, but immediately, guess what jumped in my head? Lion Man. And I know that my brothers, I'm pretty sure both my brothers, I know for sure one of them, also have stories where they're like, I didn't think anything about Lion Man. Was pretty sure it was the cousins just messing with us.
Yeah.
But then something happened. And I didn't find out about any of that until years and years later. And then I'm like, oh, wow. Well, guess what?
Me too.
Yeah, me too. So my slightly older brother,
Older.
I remember him telling me something, but I won't try to retell it because I don't remember it exactly. But my oldest brother had also mentioned to me not long ago, he swears that something followed him through the hills. Like he went camping, and it was late at night, and something was messing with him up there on the ridge. He got to the point, he had a gun, but it was just like a 22 or something. And he was like, yeah, this ain't going to do... This is something mean that's after me.
Yeah.
This ain't going to do nothing. I'm going to get out of here. So he grabs all his stuff and takes off. And he swears that this, whatever this was, followed him the whole way. He said he never actually saw it.
Yeah.
But it followed him all the way back, almost to the house, and it stopped right before he got to the house.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think he's had a few other strange things like that happen that just kind of, it happens. And the first thing you think is, Lion Man? Maybe.
So does it live in Cat Rock under the cliff y'all call Cat Rock?
Yeah, that's kind of the theory because that's where it's always seen is over on that side of the creek up on top of that mountain. There's a big rock, and a long time ago they named it Cat Rock. I have no idea why.
After Catman.
Well, I think it had
Lion Man.
I think it had some kind of shape related to a cat. Looked like a cat laying there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Lion Man's lair.
Could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be. That was kind of the thing. It was like, military experiment, escape, blah, blah, blah. Took refuge up there at Cat Rock, and that's its home. But I'm wondering.
Have you done any research to see if they actually did something like that?
Not really.
Not particularly in this area, but anything that like trying to cross human with cat or
Well, I mean, they've always done weird genetic stuff, and
Yeah.
stuff we don't even know about.
right.
They've tried. They may deny it,
Yeah.
but they've tried it. So it's very possible that something like that could have happened. Did it way back in the hollers of southeastern Kentucky? I mean,
It's a good place to hide.
yeah, pretty good place to hide. But I think the military would have been all over that area and hunting it down. I don't think they would have just let it go and let it
I don't
roam.
know. I don't want to catch some feral cats. Pretty wicked.
Well, yeah, I don't think it'll stand up to bullets.
Well, maybe
I mean,
that's the way it
really
was.
big bullets.
They were designing some kind of superhuman, so
Yeah, hey, yeah, it could be like a Captain America cat
yeah.
man thing. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like they were designing it to be powerful.
Yeah, like a super soldier.
Just saying.
Somebody needs to write this comic book. But I always wondered, like, maybe this whole cat man, lion man, whatever you want to call it,
Boogeyman.
maybe it's something else. Maybe it is some kind of creature because, the natives, they had legends about the Wampus cat.
Right. Maybe
We've
it is
talked
Wampus
about
cat.
that before. So maybe it's a Wampus cat. So when I saw these eyeballs, I know I said it was probably about 7 foot tall. This didn't look 7 foot tall. The level of the eyeballs was more about my height. So that would fit more with a Wampus cat too. And I've even heard from some of the cousins that actually weren't even part of our little group that I'm talking about. These were like further on down the line cousins, second and third cousins. They were actually telling me that the history of the lion man was actually that it was like a protector, like some kind of supernatural being that only showed itself when somebody was disrespecting the land and messing with its environment. Or this very well could just be some kind of cryptid species. There's stories of were-cats.
Yeah, I mean,
Not just werewolves. There's
beyond where your all's
were-cats.
house is, that holler runs deep between houses.
Oh yeah,
There's acres.
yeah. There's acres and acres before there's any civilization or any people at all. Yeah, there's nothing. It's just empty, dense forest. So anything could be hiding back in there. But whatever lion man may be, it's still kind of a part of my childhood and my life in Appalachia. Because, like you said, over in your holler, the Yellowman stretcher, every holler has its own booger.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe lion man's just our booger. And that brings us to the possibility of another type of cryptid that may be active right now because some recent events have been very strange.
Yeah.
And it's even stranger that just a few episodes back, we did the whole question out of the jar. We did the question and answer thing. And one of the questions, you pulled one out and asked me which one of these stories that we've told on here do you think is the highest chance of being real, of being true? And I said all of them.
But one specifically.
Yeah, but there was one specific. I said if I had to choose, it would probably be this Dogman cryptid creature that seems to be stalking around the Appalachian Mountains. There's just too many stories.
Yeah, a lot of sightings.
And yeah, too many sightings for it to just be made up.
Or too many incidents that are reoccurring, like the same.
Yeah, they kind of coincide with each other.
Same injuries and such, and humans.
But there's been several lately.
And
it's getting kind of disturbing. And I'm starting to wonder, is Dogman getting braver?
I don't know. Getting hungry.
Or are we completely misreading this? It's just dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not feral dogs, but they're just not that common.
No, not around here. No. Not in Eastern Kentucky. Almost every dog has some home that it goes to and sleeps and gets fed usually.
Or the trash is so accessible, let's say, that they're going to find something through the trash that they're not seeking out human flesh.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the way I feel about it.
Hey, there's always vicious dogs. Okay. There's stories of attacks by vicious dogs all the time. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just literally mauled bodies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's food sources around that these animals aren't seeking out to be so vicious as these people are, being reported
Yeah.
as injured
I
from
mean,
this attack.
yeah, there are vicious dogs, but you don't see it that much, especially around here. Like I said, a lot of dogs around here, if they're hungry and starving and stuff, I mean, they're usually really meek and not aggressive most of the time. But every now and then, you got that one that's just vicious and mean and evil and just tries to eat you up. But these are like overkill.
Yeah. So our most recent attack is out of Knox County, Kentucky, in the Flat Lick area.
Yeah, the Flat Lake community.
And this victim is Priscilla Jones, 44. Supposedly, the eyewitness said she was attacked by a pack of wild dogs roaming like while she was walking.
Right.
So they're investigating it, but her husband has said he feels like it's more than just wild dogs. He said it looks like the wild dogs attacked like her limbs,
You're right.
but the way the rest of her body looked, it looks like something more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, he says something along the lines of the dogs had something to do with it. They bit, her arms and legs and held her down, but the rest of her
It's just so mauled.
was mauled by something else. And he says, I think it was by a two-legged dog.
So, and they're currently investigating and asking the neighbors, if they've seen anything to check surveillance cameras and stuff. But it's still going to be weeks before they get any type of evidence, DNA evidence, back to see what, this possibly could have been that attacked her.
Right. Yeah, they've got the body, sent off for like an autopsy and testing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess they'll figure out that it's dogs because there'll be dog DNA. But even her husband said, no, that was too much for just dogs.
Right. So,
So
do you have a clip of what him saying that?
I do. I've
Yeah.
actually, I was just going to play this news story. Anybody out there that may have not heard
His statement.
the news story,
Yeah.
and this man's statement. This is a news story by WKYT. I think this was done just yesterday, maybe today, but this is WKYT. Steve Pendleton, I think, is the reporter. So here is the story of this vicious dog attack.
Johnny Smith says he and his wife were married 25 years, and Wednesday would have been her 45th birthday.
She would help anybody. She would do anything for anybody.
Something happened Friday, and Priscilla Jones was found dead. The sheriff says evidence points to a vicious attack by several dogs. A neighbor saw it and called for help.
He runs the dogs off and calls back 911 and says, that she had been attacked by these dogs.
Johnny Smith questions if something else happened.
What I seen, I don't think dogs did attack her. Dogs had part of it on her legs and her arms, but the rest of the body, I think, was done by a two-legged dog.
The Knox County coroner tells me this is the second deadly dog attack that they've had in this part of Knox County. The other attack happened in the month of May, and I'm told Kentucky State Police are investigating that incident.
We need justice.
Smith says he also knows the other dog attack victim.
Nobody to this day has heard anything about that woman. And I think both women deserve to have justice done and find out really what did happen.
We're doing a neighborhood canvass, talking neighborhoods, checking cameras in the area, doing as thorough investigations as possible.
Priscilla Jones' body was sent to Frankfurt for an autopsy. Police say that it could be several weeks before the results are known. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
So I'm sorry, that was Phil Pendleton. I said Steve Pendleton. It's Phil Pendleton. But there you go. That was Priscilla Jones' husband, in his own words. The dogs had something to do with it. They bit her arms and legs, but the rest of it, I think it was a two-legged dog. And then you also heard, said this is the second dog attack in that area. The last victim, we've not heard anything about. Kentucky State Police have it they're investigating it, but we've not heard anything about it.
Yeah, I've not heard anything on the news.
Yeah, there seems to be absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no available news articles, press releases, or public statements describing the May 2025 dog attack in that area.
Right. What everybody knows it happened. I mean, this guy, he knew this person that was killed in May by a dog attack, and now his wife has been killed by one. And supposedly, from other things I've heard, the police said at one point they believe they knew who the dogs belonged to, and they were going to go talk to that person. But I guess the dogs didn't belong to them. And so now they're trying to find out who the dogs belong to, where they're at, what happened to them. Maybe they're with the two-legged dog.
That's who's to say he's not collected some stray dogs. They're running in a pack.
Right.
So they're of the same species, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe he kind of became the alpha of his own little pack of dogs.
So we're waiting on DNA testing and things like that to come from this one. Waiting on something to be even said about the one that happened in May.
Right.
Any details? And so in June of 2024, in Letcher County, Kentucky, Rena Sandlin, 57, was found deceased over an embankment. This was right from below her home. After leaving her home to visit a neighbor, Sandlin was reportedly walking to a neighbor's home before the attack happened. The female left her residence just up the road, and family members got concerned when she didn't return. So they went out to look for her, and they actually located her over an embankment. Said that it was an animal attack, but not necessarily common in this area. It's very rare that we have these types of events, but they do occur. And they sent her body off to Frankfurt, and still nothing. It says injuries consistent with animal attack, yet no animal identified.
So that one happened last year.
Yes, this is over a year now, and we still don't know what animal attacked her.
But it's been a year, so they know.
And no updated information.
Well, it probably doesn't match any animal, and they're freaking out. Now we've got two more, almost back to back, just a few months apart.
Yep.
And the other one, I'm assuming, probably ended up at Frankfurt for an autopsy where they tested. And the reason they haven't released anything because they're like, we don't know what it is. And now here, Priscilla Jones going to Frankfurt for an autopsy test, see what kind of DNA is found. Are we going to hear what kind of animal it was?
And then we have a local Knott County boy who was attacked in 2020. He was 13 years old. Was initially classified as a suspected animal attack, but then they said subsequent DNA testing found matches to multiple dogs and biological material on the victim. So they tied that to canine DNA of some sort, is what it says. It says death confirmed as animal attack, DNA matches dogs, but identity unclear.
There you go. I'm really starting to wonder about this this supposed cryptid and those stories that my friends told me.
And now this is out, toward central and western Kentucky, far away from eastern Kentucky, but in the Louisville area in 2019, there's multiple livestock, including 5 llamas, 2 donkeys, and a sheep were killed under strange circumstances on a farm in Louisville. And, the authorities struggled to try and find a culprit for that. So they said it might be a canine-like creature. So
they could never conclusively say sure that it was dog and only dog. That's interesting. I don't have any explanation for that. I mean, it's that's pretty compelling evidence,
yeah.
I think. And it seems like maybe they might even know about this because they just
and at first
never release it, never say anything.
I remember the headlines of the little boy in Knott County, and they were just saying an animal attack. They didn't know what attacked him.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember hearing coyotes at first, and then
well, I mean, the time that it happened, it made sense that it would be coyotes because it was in February.
Right. Yeah,
and it was during their breeding season, but they're not likely to come into your backyard or a path where people travel a lot. I think it was on a driveway to his grandma's house or something,
Right.
if I recall correctly. It was a well beaten path. One
Right.
traveled regularly between houses. So
And then it changed to just dogs.
yeah, it was like canine like DNA. And there was
Yeah.
people that actually went out, hunting for these animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you want to put them down.
Mm-hmm.
If they just mauled a little boy, yeah, you want to put these animals down.
It looks to me like they could have taken those animals once they euthanized them or whatever they did, and maybe matched up their DNA to what they found on the boy's body to see if it was one of those dogs. But you didn't hear anything else about that.
They actually did get some dogs. I was still under the assumption they didn't even know what dogs it was.
They didn't. They just went to this abandoned like strip job, and this guy that had some dogs up there and kind of took the animals.
They just decided, oh, this must have been the wild dogs that killed that boy.
Yeah.
Round them up. Let's kill them. Wow.
That's what I heard, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, when we did our initial episode where we talked about cryptids, and I mentioned Dogman, werewolves, that kind of stuff, I looked at some of the reported attacks some cryptozoologists have attributed to werewolves or Dogman, this cryptid creature. Some of those supposed experts have taken these cases where it seems like it was a dog, but it was never 100% confirmed. Kind of like these cases. The DNA was canine, but they couldn't really nail down exactly what canine.
Right.
And you can attribute that to mutts, I'm sure. But
if they're having like the specific animal that attacked them, they should be able to match the DNA perfectly to that one, at least one animal.
Right.
And say, yes, this one animal was in a pack with the rest of these, so it was these dogs.
But like you were mentioning with the fact that maybe this creature, this two-legged dog, maybe he has him a little pack of dogs. He's the alpha of the pack.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
And yeah, he's got him some little subordinates that follow him around, do his bidding, help him take down prey, things of that nature. Here's the crazy thing. There was another story on our holler about a big red dog.
Nice. Clifford?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they just called him Big Red. Because, yeah, he had that really red, rusty red fur. Apparently,
so like a hound dog.
Yeah. According to, older cousins and brothers, once again, he was a gigantic dog, like Great Dane or bigger size, and I guess. But he was like this alpha and had him a little pack of dogs, wild dogs that followed him around. And you better be careful when you're in the hills. Big Red will get you. I think some of my cousins on the creek even talked about that one too. That one was kind of like Lion Man. It was kind of known up and down the little holler there. Could that have also been one of these cryptids?
Maybe. Now I know red bones dogs. They call them red bones. Can be pretty hateful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Red bones.
Yeah, it's a hunting dog, like a coon dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They can be pretty mean, really. But are they like really big?
Yeah, pretty large. I mean, they can get large. They're like really large and lanky.
I didn't think they got to Great Dane size. That's like the biggest dog breed there is, right? Great Dane. Maybe closely followed by the St. Bernard. This was apparently a very, very large dog. And once again, I'm pretty sure it was just made up to scare us. But I have two witnesses to this. Unfortunately, one of them is no longer of this earth. He passed away. But I had two friends who came to the house and we went camping. We got up to the top of the ridge and walked a little ways, and we found this nice big open clearing. And there was already like a bunch of wood laying there.
Like somebody already been there.
Well, no, it was where they had reclaimed and stuff. They took out some trees and they cut them up and just left them laying. So we were like, hey, free wood. So we're up there setting up camp. And I'm like, man, I got to pee. So I go over to this big rock, this big boulder that's sitting there, and walk around the other side of it. And there's a muddy spot. It wasn't completely dry yet. We got rain a few days before. And it was just really soft and muddy. And there was a gigantic dog print in the mud. I'm talking huge. I put my hand down to it, and it was as big as my hand.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, my hand was a little bit smaller then. I was probably 15, 16, but still.
Still bigger than a human hand.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can I say it was Big Red? I don't know. Maybe it was one of these werewolf creatures. Maybe that's where the whole legend and story of Big Red came from.
Maybe we're looking for a black dog, but it's a red dog.
All I know is that particular cryptid creature, whatever you want to call it, this werewolf, dogman, two-legged dog, as that one gentleman called it, whatever this thing may be, apparently there's more than one of them, because there's so many stories across the country of people seeing this large creature with a dog's head. Like that's what the whole cryptid Dogman. And then, of course, you have the legend of the werewolves.
Breathitt County's demon dog.
Demon dogs. There you go. That's kind of what people...
Hellhounds.
Yeah. Yeah, people kind of referred to Big Red. The story was typically told that it was a hellhound, a demon dog. But there's so many of these stories. Like I said, here we've had just recently, I mean, some very compelling evidence that maybe this thing is for real.
Yeah, I know a typical hellhound in the Appalachian area, they mostly say it has like blackish or blue fur and a mane running halfway down its back and large paws that look like maybe similar to black bear's front paws. It does not seem to have much to do with like religion, but rather it's called the Kentucky hellhounds. Don't attack humans, it's mostly livestock that they attack.
There you go.
There's not much livestock in our area anymore.
Yeah, not too many people have big farms and stuff around
right.
our
I'm
area.
starting to see more cattle and things like that in our area coming back. People are buying cattle. For a while, these fields have been quite empty, other than a few horses here and there. If you think about it, I've seen an uptick in the cattle.
Yeah, more people are starting to get farm animals and stuff. But still, yet, I mean, back in the day, though, you had to be pretty self-sufficient. So there were a lot of small farms. People had cattle and pigs and all those types of things. And then they had to have horses and mules to get around. And who knows back then? Maybe there were all kinds of demon dog, werewolf, creature attacks. But they didn't really keep track of them. They were just like, oh, mountain lion, bobcat, wild dog, and then they just buried them. These creatures seem to pop up all over the place. But man, there's been a lot of these stories that have come out of Appalachia. It just makes you scratch your head and wonder, like, what is this thing? Is it a demon dog, a hellhound? Is it the ancient legend of a werewolf?
Is the government hiding stuff?
Yeah, they've been conducting experiments, and they've made a whole army of dogmen.
Because they can't give us a definite answer.
Right.
It's canine-like DNA, but I know they can't be like, oh, this is specifically a little Yorkie that did it. But if they, like with the one little boy, they found supposed the pack of dogs, did they match that DNA up with at least one of the animals, and say, yeah, it was this dog. So we assume because he was with this pack, then this is the pack he was with that attacked the boy.
Right. We never hear anything like that. It just says DNA of various breeds of dog.
No, all this is just DNA, canine DNA.
Canine DNA. Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Then no specific answers.
And again, with a mutt, yeah, you can't do that. But if you like a human, has specific DNA that they can pinpoint this person, killed this person.
Dogs have unique DNA just like people do.
So I don't know why they couldn't have took one of those dogs that they euthanized and compare its DNA to DNA they found on the child.
Right. Maybe people just assumed they did do that.
Yeah.
But we never hear about it if they did. It's just they decided, oh, it was this pack of dogs, and they have those dogs put down, and then, that's it. End of story. But is it?
Right. I mean, the way I see it is, it could have been dogs, but could it have been coyotes? We need specifics between the two. Was it a dog? Was it a coyote?
Well, I would assume that they would be able to tell the difference. And if it was coyote, they would have said.
Done advanced testing, because they're both in the canine family.
Right.
So
I'm just saying, though, I'm sure that coyote DNA has something unique about it, and they can say, oh, yeah, this is coyote. This isn't your regular dog. When they say
But they did.
dog,
They said unspecified, so you would have had to have categorized that domestic dog breed or wild coyote.
right? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just like, oh, it's canine, it's dogs.
And then the lady in Letcher County, they didn't even bother. An animal attack.
And they just said animal attack.
Okay, no, not worried about what kind.
Yeah.
And then no reports of the lady that was attacked in Knox County in May. What did she see?
I don't know. There's nothing available. I don't understand that.
Because if the community had been made more aware from the lady in May's attack, they probably would have still been on the lookout for these dogs that attacked her.
Right. Well, I mean, they may have not known the specific dogs or whatever, but yeah, there should have been something, because even Priscilla Jones, her husband, says he knew the other victim too. He says that there needs to be justice for both of these women. So, I mean, why would they have not been on the lookout?
Right. I mean, every county has a dog catcher. Do something about it.
Right.
And I know that our animal shelters and things like that are backed up, but these are animals, and I'm probably going to get slapped on the wrist. But if they're attacking people, there's really nothing you can do to rehabilitate them, and they need to be euthanized.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. You need to put them down if they've been mauling and killing
for their
people.
safety, because they could have rabies. For other animal and other humans' safety, they just have to be put down. And who's to say you send them to a rehabilitation home and they don't attack someone else? It's
Right.
unfortunate. I love animals and dogs just as much as the next person. But
Yeah, you kind of have to draw the line.
yeah.
If they're being vicious, attacking, killing, then yeah, they need to be put down. But we have no way of knowing for sure which dogs did it. But the police seem to be pretty sure that they know what dogs did it. So I don't know. I really wanted to talk about this because it was so strange.
It's becoming more and more common.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until this most recent attack. And then it learned, oh, there was another one in May. Oh, there was one in Letcher County just last year. Oh, there was a bunch of livestock killed. I mean, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And all they can say is apparent dog attack. But this time we have the husband of the victim.
Who thinks it's more than just the dogs?
Yeah. Apparently he thinks it's a two-legged dog. And that brought us right to our cryptid Dogman, the werewolves. We were right back here again. I'm telling you. There's something to this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the only place you're going to hear about these crazy cryptid creatures of Appalachia is right here on Appalachia Not So Quiet. You come back and listen to us again on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible.
And our social media, X and TikTok.
Be sure to like, follow, share.
Give us a shout out.
Yeah,
comment.
and leave us some comments. And as always, come back, join us again. Our next episode will be Monday. Anybody who's a fan of our show knows Mondays usually means ghosts.
Hates boogers.
Spooky stuff. I love the spooky stuff. So you definitely want to come back and listen to that one. Till then, I'm Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll see you on the next one. Till then, keep a silver bullet handy. And watch out for them boogers.